The Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Legal? Illegal? Constitutional crisis? Welcome back to Red, White, and News. We're going to be discussing that topic today.
There's a lot of controversy about Elon Musk, and let's just dispel some of it right at the start. He is not a freelancer. He was appointed a government official. Donald Trump, by an executive order, created the Department of Government Efficiency, and he made Elon Musk the head of it, along with Ramaswamy, who now has resigned. Elon Musk has statutory authority.
Well, that's the first you'll hear of that. Nobody ever brings that part up. The closest you ever hear about his legitimacy is, I didn't vote for Elon Musk. Did you vote for Elon Musk? That's all you ever hear in the media. Every talking head on every cable station says the same thing over and over and over. Who voted for Elon Musk? Well, apparently the 77 million people that voted for Trump voted for Elon Musk. We all knew it was coming. They campaigned together for months. Besides the border, this was probably the biggest thing that people wanted, was government bureaucracy cut.
Department of Government Efficiency is not a cabinet agency. He does not have to be approved by Congress. And only is going to last till July 4th, 2026. It's not a permanent agency. But he has the same power or lack of such as the National Security Advisor, who does not have to be confirmed by the U.S. Senate. He's more legitimate, or he has more statutory legitimacy than earlier presidential advisors like Harry Hopkins, who moved into the White House under the FDR administration, or Bernard Baruch, who basically ran 2 world wars in terms of domestic production under Woodrow Wilson and FDR.
So all you ever hear is that whatever Musk is doing is unconstitutional, but as Hansen is suggesting, he has more legitimacy than advisors that were around in wartime. Wartime. That's crazy.
So let's just dispel the idea that he's doing anything unusual. As far as the executive orders that created the DOGE program and eliminated USAID, that was perfectly legal in itself. AID was created by John F. Kennedy in 1961 by an executive order.
Let's bring in Congressman Robert Garcia of California, a member of the House DOGE subcommittee. Thank you so much, Congressman. You're on this subcommittee. Do you all have any oversight of these teenage and 20-something DOGE people?
First off, I'm going to stop her right there. Teenage and 20-something is lazy. It's a joke. You act like it's okay for an 18-year-old to be given a haircut and a rifle and sent to a foreign country and protect our land, which, God love them, is amazing. But at the same time, you can't disrespect ones that have a laptop that walk into a government agency and want to see the books. That's ridiculous. I would say she should be ashamed of herself, but I'm sure give it time, you'll probably hear something way worse than that. She's not great.
Who are taking Americans' data?
Well, we're absolutely going to be investigating it, and we should be looking at it. I mean, what's happening right now is complete insanity. And you have the world's richest man sending out his team of kids, in some cases, out there in all of our agencies, manipulating data, causing all sorts of disruptions. And what's really, really, I think, a critical moment right now that we're in is they are doing things that are highly illegal and unconstitutional. And so I think we've got...
Davis Hansen just literally said that Musk and his department are statutorily approved. They have authority because of the executive order that created them. So how is what they're doing illegal or unconstitutional? Please explain that to me. If I'm missing something, let me know in the comments.
Investigate it. We're going to be bringing it up at our first committee meeting, which is, of course, this Wednesday. And most importantly, we're going to continue to expose Elon Musk and the reason why he's doing this. And we shouldn't forget that he is trying as much as he can to destroy our agencies so that he can get the biggest tax cut possible for him and his billionaire friend.
why would he have to do all this? All we heard for 4 years when Trump was in office was that the tax cuts that legitimately helped everybody across the board were just for millionaires and the top 1%. So if Elon Musk is the richest guy in the world, how does that not apply to him? He's already getting the biggest tax cuts ever, according to mainstream media and Democrat politicians. So what does he have to gain by stealing information with his kids in the government? It's just it's a pathetic argument, and it's a joke.
JJ.
On DOGE and the fraud claims, Elon Musk in the Oval yesterday gave us some information on that. We're just wondering if there's some proof, evidence. Is the White House willing to share evidence of those fraud claims, or can Elon Musk come to the briefing room and share material evidence of what he's talking about?
Sure, I would love for Elon Musk to come to the briefing room. That's why we had him go to the Oval Office yesterday, where I think he provided great answers. He was speaking in layman's terms, speaking common sense to all of you in the media, but also to Americans at home. But I would say especially to all of you in the media, because I think it's a real fallacy that there's this alleged lack of transparency when it comes to DOGE. President Trump and Elon Musk have been incredibly transparent on what DOGE is doing. There is an X account with the DOGE handle. They are tweeting out what they are doing on a daily basis. They have a website where they are posting the receipts of the contracts that they are reviewing and the payments that they have stopped from going out the door. The secretaries of our departments have stopped from going out the door. And I would also say that before it was Elon Musk making our government efficient and accountable, it was some unnamed bureaucrat that none of you knew. Elon Musk is...
I will say, too, on the topic of the transparency thing, I admit I haven't seen a lot of people say about the transparency. Kind of the angle I keep hearing pundits go is that Elon and his guys are going through so fast that they're making a lot of unfounded allegations about some of these dollar amounts and where they're going. And because they're just going through so fast and they're not following the process to go slowly and vet everything, that there a lot of these dollar amounts and everything are allegedly false, that they end up having to backtrack or whatever. I don't really know, which is the case, but like I said, I'm just gonna, if I hear it, I'll tell you and let you make up your mind.
The richest man in the world. He's also now one of the most highly scrutinized men in the world alongside President Trump because of what he's doing and the access that he is allowing. So there's great transparency. As for the actual receipts, we are happy to provide them, and I actually brought some today because all of you know I love to bring the receipts.
I knew she was grinning earlier for a reason.
We have contracts upon contracts that we can send and provide this information to you. Let me be very clear. We are not trying to hide anything. We have been incredibly transparent, and we will continue to be. These are screenshots of contracts that DOGE found across our government. This is a DEI contract, $36,000 for U.S. citizenship and immigration services. That is against the president's policies and his America First agenda. This is a $3.4 million contract, a Council for Inclusive Innovation at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, Department of Commerce.
What would you need inclusion at a patent office? I mean, if you patent an idea, it's because you thought of it and you were the first one. What would you need inclusion? Where would inclusion come in?
Commerce, another DEI contract that DOGE identified. I can continue to go through these. Oh, I love this one. $57,000 for climate change in Sri Lanka. What is this doing to continue the interests of the American people? Absolutely nothing. These are the line items across the federal government that DOGE is identifying daily. They're moving very fast. There's a lot of paper that we can show you, but we're happy to do it. This administration has been more than transparent about what DOGE is doing. And here's one of their tweets that they posted about the mine. I believe
this mine is insane. So apparently, since the 50s, I think, they've been taking these personnel files, these retiree folders and all that, and manually storing paper copies of them in an underground mine. I want to say limestone mine, if I remember right. And so they literally pay so many people to just sit in this underground bunker all day, every day. And it's such a slow process, they have to limit the number of people that they can retire in a month because they just physically can't process the paperwork by hand that fast. Crazy. Could you imagine still having to pay salaries to people because you don't have the time to process their retirement paperwork? Efficiency.
In Pennsylvania, where the federal employee retirement system is being processed. Did anybody know this was even happening in our country before Elon Musk talked about it in the Oval Office yesterday? A lot of Americans didn't. So we are providing transparency and accessibility on a daily basis when it comes to DOGE. And I also have a DOGE daily report, if anybody would like it, on all of the things that they are identifying and finding. We're happy to provide this information to you. We're talking about it every single day.
Are all those things you just mentioned fraud, or are they waste, or are they just
All the
contrary
above.
to the president's policies?
I would argue that all of these things are fraudulent, they are wasteful, and they are an abuse of the American taxpayers' dollar. This is not what the government should be spending money on. It's contrary to the president's priorities and agenda. And again, we can continue to provide you the receipts for all of the fraud, waste, and abuse. And if anybody in here wants to argue that the federal government is not fraudulent in some capacity, be my guest, because I think the American people watching at home would beg to differ. Brian.
Yes. I want to go back to DOGE just for a second. Earlier, the subcommittee headed by Chairman Marcia Taylor Greene, her and her staff discovered $2.7 trillion in improper payments to Medicare, Medicaid, overseas, to people who should not have gotten it. Some in this room might have missed that press conference.
$2.7 trillion is insane. I cannot believe that that's not a bigger story. I mean, that is huge. That alone should solidify the need for DOGE and Musk to go in there and just start looking at everything. One item.
Elaborate on what the president is thinking at this point.
Well, again, that's another example. There's a very long list of the fraud, waste, and abuse that DOGE is identifying on a daily basis. Elon Musk also talked about yesterday about Social Security payments that are going out the door for people who are no longer with us, unfortunately. I would say that is certainly fraud. There's also a lot of contracts they've identified that, just as a hypothetical example, are $1 million, but only 500,000 went out the door. So where's the rest of that cash?